At just 12 years old, Scholola had experienced more pain and hardship than most people do in a lifetime. Born and raised on the streets, she had no father, no home, and no one to fight for her future. She was a ghost in the crowd, a shadow on the pavement. And yet, beneath her faded, torn clothes and calloused feet, there was a brilliant mind and a burning hope. This is her story. But one day, everything changed. She met Jessica, the daughter of a billionaire studying at the best school money could buy, yet struggling to learn. And it was Scholola, the barefoot girl from the gutter, who became her secret teacher. But when Jessica's powerful father discovered a homeless child teaching his daughter under a mango tree, what he did next will leave you speechless. So grab your popcorn, sit back, and get ready for one of the most powerful stories you've ever heard. Dirty thing, I said, leave here. A raw slap of spit landed just inches from Scholola's bare feet. She didn't move. She'd grown used to the insults. The market woman's voice pierced the air again. Is this a rubbish ground? You and that mad woman best shift before I pour water on you. Scholola tightened her grip on her mother, Abini, who sat barefoot beside the gutter, mumbling to herself and tracing patterns in the dust with one trembling finger. Her wrapper had fallen halfway, exposing scars and filth, but Abini didn't notice. She was lost in another world, one that only she could see. People walked past, some slowed down, some stared. One woman paused, shook her head, and kept walking. No one helped. No one ever did. Scholola was 12 years old, but the streets had aged her soul. She didn't cry anymore when people called her names. Daughter of a mad woman, gutter girl, cursed child. What hurt more was the pity, the empty kind that came with a shake of the head and no hand of help. Her mother used to be beautiful, or so Scholola imagined. On rare lucid days, Abini would sing old Yoruba lullabies and call Scholola princess. But those moments were like shooting stars, brief and gone before you could touch them. Most days, Abini couldn't even remember where she was. Their bed was a flattened carton. Their blanket was silence. Survival was the only language she spoke. Each morning began the same way. Abini waking up, screaming, clawing at the air. Scholola would grab her, hold her close, whisper, "It's me, mommy. It's me." Then she'd gently clean her up, sometimes with just a rag and water from a gutter pipe, and lead her back to the same begging spot on the street. Her mother begged. Scholola watched. That was their life. Occasionally, people dropped coins. Mostly, they dropped insults. Still, beneath it all, she dreamed. She dreamed of sitting in a classroom, raising her hand to answer questions. She dreamed of wearing a uniform, writing in notebooks, reading books that weren't soaked in rainwater or torn at the edges. As she reached into her bag to count the N10 note and the 3 coins they had gotten so far, she heard a hawker shout behind her, "Thunderfire poverty!" Scholola didn't look back. She just held her mother tighter and whispered, "Amen." It started with a plate of jollof rice. Scholola had been crouching beside her mother near Ashadi that afternoon, her stomach tying itself into knots from hunger. Her mother was having one of her silent days, just rocking back and forth like a broken record, her eyes unfocused, lips twitching. That's when Scholola noticed a woman watching her from across the road. The woman stood behind a steaming food stand. There was something in her gaze, something that wasn't pity. Scholola looked away, embarrassed. She hated being watched like an animal in a zoo. Minutes later, the woman crossed the road and stood in front of her. "What's your name?" she asked gently. Scholola whispered, "Scholola." The woman's eyes softened. "What did you eat today?" Scholola didn't answer. Instead, the woman held out a covered takeaway plate. "Here, eat." The food was hot, the rice sweet, the meat soft. Scholola hadn't eaten meat in months. That same evening, the woman, Auntie Linda, returned. "What's your story, child?" she asked as she helped Scholola wash her hands. Scholola told her everything. The hunger, the hope, the dreams. Auntie Linda wiped her hands with a handkerchief. "Tomorrow, come to my shop. You'll help me clean. In return, I'll feed you. Deal?" Scholola nodded so hard her head almost fell off. For weeks, Scholola came. She swept. She washed plates. She served customers. But she also learned. She learned how to count change and how to greet a customer. One afternoon, Auntie Linda saw her writing numbers in the sand with a stick. "Where did you learn that?" Auntie Linda asked. "From watching the school near the express road," Schola answered. "I memorized what the teacher said." Auntie Linda was silent for a long time. The next week, Auntie Linda returned with a brand new exercise book and a pack of pencils. The week after that, she went a step further. 3 weeks later, Scholola stood inside a dusty public school classroom. She wore a second-hand uniform that was too big, but it felt like a crown. The first day was strange. Children stared. Some giggled. But the moment the teacher asked a question and Scholola answered before anyone else could raise a hand, everything changed. She was smart. Too smart. She answered questions older students couldn't. Even the headmistress asked one day, "Who trained this child?" Scholola always said, "Auntie Linda." Then, just when life seemed like it was turning, everything changed. Auntie Linda came home one night holding a white envelope. "My sister in the UK finally processed my papers," she said, tears in her eyes. "After 7 years of waiting." Schola smiled. "So we're traveling?" The woman stopped smiling. "No, Scholola. Just me." The room grew quiet. Scholola blinked. "What about me?" Auntie Linda sighed. "I paid for your school up to this term. Maybe God will send someone else to help you. I've done all I can." And that was it. Auntie Linda was gone. No one else came to pay the next term's fees. The headmistress said, "Without fees, you can't remain." Scholola stood outside the school gate for hours, clutching her bag, waiting for Auntie Linda to return. She never did. The streets had changed while she was gone. The broken kiosk they used to sleep in had a new tenant. The corner by the bakery where her mother begged was now occupied by 2 boys who sniffed glue. The only thing that hadn't changed was her mother. Still mad, still barefoot, still talking to ghosts. Days turned into weeks. She tried returning to the food stand, but it had a new owner who chased her away. Her last pair of sandals were sold for N300 to buy food. Her uniform faded into gray. Her exercise book got wet in the rain and the ink ran until all her notes became unreadable. People stopped seeing her as that smart girl. Now she was just another street girl, another shadow on the roadside. She couldn't help herself. No matter how many times they chased her away, Schola kept going back. Every morning, she would find her way to the back fence of City Crest Academy, a private school that looked like a palace. From a small ledge she could stand on, she could see everything. The chalkboard, the math problems, the teacher explaining vowels. But one Monday, she wasn't fast enough. The teacher noticed her. "Who sent you here?" she yelled. "I just want to learn," Schola stammered. The teacher barked. "Go and tell your mother to pay school fees first, if you even know who your mother is." The class burst into laughter. The teacher grabbed a stick from the table and raised it. Schola turned and ran. Ran so fast she didn't feel the tears stinging her cheeks. She didn't give up. The next day she tried another school. When a boy threw a stone, she didn't flinch. When a security guard pushed her to the ground, she held her tears. As she limped away, Scholola looked up at the building. The bright walls, the desks, the blackboard, everything she longed for, yet everything she couldn't touch. She sat under a tree and began writing multiplication tables in the dust with a stick. When the wind blew them away, she started again. That night, as her mother babbled beside her, Scholola looked at the stars. "God," she whispered, "why do you make me so smart and then lock the doors to school? Did you give me this brain just to suffer?" There was no answer, just the quiet sobbing of a child desperate for more than survival. Scholola wasn't supposed to be there. Queen's Crest International School had tall, polished gates guarded by men in navy blue uniforms. Children arrived in air-conditioned SUVs. The walls shimmered with fresh paint. It was a school for the rich, the elite. But Schola had seen it one too many times. And today, something inside her said, "Go closer." She found a small gap near a drainage pipe and slid in, her heart pounding like a war drum. She expected to be caught, but no one saw her. She walked past flower beds, hiding behind trees, ducking every time she saw a teacher. Eventually, she found a quiet spot behind a large mango tree. From there, she could see one of the junior classrooms through an open window. She was halfway through sounding out a difficult English passage when she heard a voice behind her. "You're the girl they always chase away, right?" Scholola's heart stopped. She spun around. A girl her age stood there, her hair in neat cornrows, her uniform spotless. Her name tag sparkled, Jessica Agu. "I didn't mean any harm," Scholola stammered. "I was just listening." Jessica tilted her head. "Why?" "Because I want to learn." "People laugh at me too," Jessica said quietly. "They say I'm dumb, that my dad paid the school to keep promoting me. I don't understand anything they teach in class." Jessica then handed her a textbook. "Can you teach me this? I don't get it." Scholola looked at the page. Fractions. She studied it for a moment, then gently took the book. "Okay, so look, when you see 1/2 and 1/4, they don't have the same denominator." Jessica listened, wide-eyed, as Scholola broke it down. Within minutes, Jessica was solving problems she had struggled with all term. "I understand. I finally get it," she gasped. Scholola smiled shyly. "You're not dumb." Jessica grinned. "And you're not just smart. You're amazing." When the bell rang, Jessica stood. "Will you come tomorrow?" she asked. "They'll chase me. I don't belong here." "Wait here," Jessica said. A few minutes later, she returned with the security man following closely behind. "This is my friend. Her name is Scholola. She'll be here tomorrow during lunch. Let her in." The man looked confused. "But she's not." "She's my friend," Jessica repeated. "And my daddy owns this school. You have a problem with that?" The man said nothing. That night, under the dim light of a broken street lamp, Scholola lay beside her mother, who was humming to herself, holding a stone like it was a baby. Scholola stared at the sky. "God," she whispered. "I met someone today. She saw me. She didn't call me dirty or mad. She listened. Please let me see her again. Let this not be a dream." She reached into her pocket and pulled out the notepad Jessica gave her. On the first page was a drawing. 2 stick girls holding hands under a mango tree, one in uniform, one in rags, both smiling. They met under the mango tree every single day. Same time, same spot. Scholola came barefoot in her torn gown, clutching a plastic bag with torn papers and a blunt pencil. Jessica came in her ironed uniform with a lunchbox packed by the cook. 2 girls from 2 different worlds. But when they sat under that tree, nothing else mattered. Their friendship grew like a fire in the cold. Jessica's grades soared. She paid attention in class, not because the teachers finally made sense, but because Scholola did. One afternoon, as they shared Jessica's spaghetti and plantain, Jessica asked, "Do you have a best friend?" "You," Scholola replied without thinking. Jessica smiled. "Me too." Then her smile faded. "Scholola, what if my daddy finds out? What if he says we can't be friends? Then you'll forget me. That's how it works." "No," Jessica snapped. "I won't." "He'll be angry," Scholola said softly. "Rich people don't want their daughters sitting with girls like me. My mother begs on the road, Jessica. Some people say she's cursed. They think I'm cursed too." Jessica was quiet. Then she leaned forward and whispered, "You're not cursed. You're magic." Scholola blinked, stunned. "Magic?" Jessica nodded firmly. "Yes. Who else can teach better than all my teachers? Who else can make a place like this feel like home?" They started sharing more than food and textbooks. Jessica brought Scholola a hairbrush, a small blue notepad, and a pair of slippers once. Scholola, in return, told stories, real ones and made-up ones. Stories about stars falling in love with street kids, about girls who found schools and dreams, and about mothers who got healed by the rain. Jessica listened like every word mattered. For the first time in her life, Jessica didn't feel alone. And for the first time, Scholola didn't feel invisible. But they kept it a secret. Jessica didn't tell her father, Chief Agu, one of the most feared and respected billionaires in Lagos. How do you tell a man who ran oil companies and sat on TV panels that your best friend was a street girl with no shoes? And so, under the mango tree, the two girls built a world of their own. A world where names didn't matter. Where a billionaire's daughter and a mad woman's child could dream the same dream together. The morning started like any other. Jessica sat through her classes, distracted, waiting for the lunch bell. Then she heard it, the low hum of black SUVs rolling into the compound. Students turned to look. Teachers froze mid-sentence. Jessica's stomach dropped. "Daddy," she whispered. "Why is he here?" Chief Agu didn't visit the school without warning. His name alone carried weight. Then, before she could act, Scholola appeared, breathless, smiling, barefoot as always. "I'm here," she said. But Jessica wasn't smiling. Her eyes were locked on the figure stepping out of the SUV. Tall, dark-skinned, impeccably dressed. Chief Agu. "Jessica." The deep voice echoed across the lawn. She turned. Chief Agu walked forward. His eyes were sharp, calculating, confused. "What are you doing out here?" he asked. "I was having lunch," Jessica said. "With who?" Chief Agu looked to his daughter's side and saw Scholola. His brow furrowed. "Who is this?" Scholola bowed her head, her entire body trembling. Jessica stepped in front of her. "This is Scholola. She's my friend." "You're what?" he asked. "She helps me. She teaches me. The reason I've been doing so well in school is because of her. I understand her better than any teacher here." A long, heavy silence followed. Chief Agu's eyes remained fixed on the trembling girl. Then he asked quietly, "Who are your parents, child?" Scholola's voice was dry and cracked. "I don't know my father, sir. My mother, she's sick. She begs by the roadside near Oshodi." Chief Agu watched the gesture, his daughter holding this girl's hand like a lifeline, and for the first time, he softened. "You've been coming here every day, teaching her in secret?" Jessica nodded. "I was scared to tell you." He looked at her. "Scared of me?" Jessica whispered. "Scared you wouldn't let me see her again." The billionaire turned back to Scholola. "I'm not here to hurt you," he said gently. "Take me to your mother, please." 30 minutes later, the convoy pulled into a dusty street. The scent of burning trash hung in the air. Scholola pointed. "She's there." A woman sat on the sidewalk, rocking back and forth, laughing at nothing. "That's my mommy," Scholola whispered. Chief Agu stepped down from the vehicle, walked toward the woman, and crouched beside her. "Madam," he said softly, "did you bring this guy?" "I left my wings in your car." Tears welled in Scholola's eyes. "I'm going to help her," he said quietly. "I know people. She needs proper care." He stood, turned to his assistant and gave a firm order. "Get Dr. Aisha on the line. Psychiatric unit. Full treatment. No delays." Then he turned back to Scholola. "And you? From today, you are not a homeless girl." He knelt before her, placed a firm hand on her shoulder, and looked her in the eyes. "You have a father now." Chief Agu moved fast. By evening, Scholola had taken her first proper bath in years. The next morning, she stood in front of the mirror in Jessica's room, wearing a borrowed Queen's Crest school uniform. It was new, crisp, neatly ironed. She could hardly recognize herself. "You look just like me," Jessica said, clapping with delight. Scholola smiled. "I feel like I'm dreaming." "You're not. My daddy said it's real. He said you belong here." Scholola looked at Jessica. "I'm the daughter of a mad woman." Jessica shook her head. "No, you're the daughter of my father now." That day, the two girls walked into Queen's Crest together. Matching uniforms, matching bags, matching smiles. Gasps followed them. Children whispered. Teachers blinked in confusion. Wasn't that the same street girl who used to hover behind windows and fences? Yes, it was. But today, she had come through the front gate as a student. Meanwhile, Chief Agu kept his promise. Scholola's mother was placed under expert psychiatric care. Dr. Aisha assured him that Abini's condition, while critical, was treatable. Scholola visited her mother once a week. The first few times, her mother didn't recognize her. But on the fifth visit, she suddenly paused. She looked up at Scholola and whispered, You look like the sky. Scholola burst into tears. Weeks passed. Scholola adjusted to her new life slowly. Her laughter became more frequent. She spoke during class. She made new friends. But no one ever took Jessica's place. They were sisters now, not by blood, but by bond. One Friday afternoon, Chief Agu called Scholola into his study. I've been watching you, he said. You've changed my daughter's life and mine. He opened a drawer and handed her a brand new tablet. From now on, you're my child. I'll do for you what I do for Jessica. Scholola stared at it like it was made of gold. Then she whispered, Thank you, sir. Thank you for seeing me when nobody else did. That night, Scholola sat in the garden under the mango tree. She looked up at the stars. My name is Scholola, she whispered. Daughter of no one, friend of Jessica, student of Queen's Crest. And now, she smiled, I have a father. The girl the world called the daughter of the mad woman became something far greater. A symbol of hope, a walking miracle, a living answer to her own desperate prayer. And for Chief Agu, for Jessica, and for everyone who ever believed that love and education can change a life, Scholola was proof. The future had finally opened its doors, and she walked through them, head held high. Scholola's story reminds us that one act of compassion can break cycles of poverty and rejection. True greatness isn't where you come from, but what you do when someone finally sees you. Believe, uplift, and never judge a child by their circumstance. We hope you enjoyed this powerful story. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Please share what you learned in the comments below. Your feedback means the world to us. And guess what? Another inspiring story is coming your way soon. So, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell to be the first to watch when we upload. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you.